Hello and welcome back to Trial of the Seven Kingdoms, and we are now down here at the crag. I was actually up to the north of this particular location, well, I'm going to say deeper, rather than deep, within enemy territory, and I very narrowly escaped with my life because I was extremely injured. A lot of people in my army were knocked unconscious, and there were enemies all around, so I had to just take it very, very easy, very slow, and try and get out of there as best I could. And I did manage to escape, thankfully. And now we do have a caravan ambush task to participate in, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Usually these things are really, really fast and quick, and they are going to give me a decent amount of cash in the process, and that's kind of the thing you really want to have. You really do want to get a nice fast task to potentially level up your troops as well. And oh, hello there are the opponent. There we go. Let's try and murder them as best we can, and hopefully we'll be able to test out our new sword a little bit more. And I do have a thrown weapon set as well now, so I wouldn't mind leveling that up a little bit. Now bear in mind that I personally feel like our character looks super cool now. I don't know why, but I think it's the addition of the new helmet. I think the new helmet is making a huge difference with how cool we look. It makes us look like a dark knight of some kind, like a really dangerous looking fellow. And yeah, it's actually looking pretty nice, I gotta say. I'm liking it a great deal. Anyway, let's see if I can do some damage. Oh, nice damage with the thrown weapon right there. That was a pretty nice hit, if I do say so myself. And no doubt my forces are going to do a very, very good job here. We're probably going to be absolutely fine. I don't think we're going to have any issues whatsoever in winning this. I mean, these guys are literally just mounted ransackers and things like that, and those guys really don't know what's up. They are very easy for us to eliminate, and I think I'm actually just going to speed things up here real fast, get these guys out of the way, and there we go. And just as I was walking around and everything, I was recruiting some more people. I actually completed an in and out quest, which is basically that thing where you get a task to go and settle some deed of land with some guy in a tavern somewhere. And I basically did that. I paid the guy, how much did I pay him now? I think I paid him 1,000 and he gave me 800 back. Usually in a previous version, this would be basically one of the best ever things that you could do. But obviously they nerfed it pretty significantly, because otherwise it was just a straight up positive thing, and you don't need to play the game or anything like that, because you can basically play a board game if you want to get the maximum out of it. But I didn't really want to spend the time doing that, because the relation is basically the only thing I really care about. And so I increased my relation with that guy, but I also gained some renown, and the renown that I gained gave me the next clan tier level up, which is actually pretty cool. So I'm quite happy with that. Anyway, we now have to deal with new forces. So basically we have to deal with the Westerlands here. And I'm actually not entirely sure what we're going to go for. Should we go for Westerlands levy crossbowmen all the way down to the sharpshooters? They don't look particularly strong, I've got to say. They're looking pretty weak to me, so I'm thinking maybe not them. What about the vanguards? Yeah, they're not looking particularly good either. I actually quite like the house guards. The house guards are looking pretty fun because they have a decent amount of athletics skill, and they've got good one-handed skill as well. These guys, on the other hand, the sergeants, they're very good at polearms, but not so much anything else. I'm thinking the house guards, actually, for the moment. What about the archers? Lannister scouts, you can level those guys up into... Where? Oh yeah, wait a minute, I have to go across here. Okay, so wait a minute. These guys... Okay, wait a minute. These guys are much better. Right. Okay, I might have to do a little bit more looking around here, because we have Lannister soldiers and Westerlands, and they're different. Yes, okay, they are indeed different. Okay, let me actually just take a quick look here, because we have another troop tree called the Western troop trees. And okay, Western elite. Wow. Right. I don't know what to make them into now, because I'm thinking maybe we'll just go for some really crazy archer force or something like that. I mean, yeah, I think the western ones, right? Yeah, the western ones are fantastic. Okay, we're gonna do that. Okay, so let's do that. Western one, there we go. Let's do this. And everyone else is just going to level up all the way. That is perfectly fine with me. Okay, yeah, that's looking pretty cool in my opinion. And we're just going to take all the loot. And then, yeah, this guy's obviously going to say thank you. And he's going to give us some cash. And that basically covers all of our level ups, which is actually quite nice. And we're down here at Lannisport as well. I'm actually thinking that maybe we'll just try to do a little, you know, a couple of tasks here and there, because let's face it, we probably will need a little bit of relation in the area to try and maximize the amount of units that we're going to be able to recruit in this place as well, because I'm having a difficulty finding things like that, actually, kind of weirdly enough. I'm not entirely sure why that is, but yeah, I think it's because obviously the Westerlands has a lot of vassals. They have a huge amount of vassals, and they're running around all over the place attempting to try and recruit as many units as they can get their hands on for the war that is currently going on, because obviously they do have a war going on right now. And yeah, generally that's, I would say, probably the reason why we are having difficulties finding people to recruit. But I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's that bad. I think generally it could be worse. You know, I could be in the north. I could be in the north basically doing nothing and having no enemies to fight whatsoever, and having, well, basically just bandits all over the place, which would be, well, not exactly the most fun thing ever. Anyway, I think I have a decent army now, 158 combat strength. That's not too bad, I'd say. That's not too bad. I'm actually just going to take a quick look at what this task is first. Needs tools. Do I still have some tools left over? I might. Do I? No, I don't have any tools. Are you serious? Now I'm just completely facepalming, because I'm thinking to myself, really, why do I not have tools? You know, when it actually matters, I don't have the tools that are required. Okay, wait a minute. Does this guy have any tools? Yes, he does. Okay, wow, these are really expensive. I'm gonna buy them literally just because I can spare the cash at the moment. But it's definitely not something you want to do every single day. Literally spending so much cash to try and, you know, complete these tasks. But yeah, there we go. I'm still looking for your goods. Wait a minute, how many tools does he need? Of course he needs 6. Okay, yeah, you're gonna have to make do without that, sir. At least for the moment. Maybe I can find some tools in Castamere or something like that, but I really didn't want to have to go back, of all things, you know, really, I mean, you know, going back and forth all the time. Okay, yeah, these are just as overpriced, of course, as you might expect. There's a task in here. Oh, that must be a lord or something like that. Maybe I should take the task from the lord, actually. Yeah, this guy. This guy has a task? No, he doesn't have a task. Okay, that's kind of weird. There is an exclamation mark there, so that's a little bit strange. Oh well, never mind. Okay, so what we're going to do is, because we are, of course, a vassal for the Westerlands, I would like to try and capture something if I can. So the best thing for me to do is literally try to capture something myself. And I'm thinking we're probably going to try and take a castle if I can, or maybe they're going to give me Harrenhal. Oh, they're actually going to give me Harrenhal. That is hilarious. Okay, I'm actually going to spend some influence right here on Tywin. And there's a reason for that. I want to try and... I did not mean to do that. Okay, well, I kind of shot myself in the foot there, didn't I? Okay. All things considered, I think that's probably okay, because if you think about it this way, I don't think I'm going to be able to defend Harrenhal from anyone at the moment. And it is indeed a town. You got to bear that in mind. It is a town, so it is going to be very difficult to defend. And I'm now kicking myself pretty hard, but we did level up really, really nicely. I mean, you can see here, look at how many perks I have. I have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's a pretty significant amount. Not too bad. Your shops have 20% less upkeep. I'm kind of crying inside now because I'm thinking to myself, did I just let go of one of the best opportunities I could possibly get? I did get some really good charm skill, and I got some amazing relation with Tywin himself, which is obviously good, right? I mean, I think it's pretty good to, you know, kind of have a good relation with your liege, whoever it may be. Anyway, party can carry 30% more weight. Yeah, let's do that, I guess. That's kind of useful for us at the moment. And your infantrymen suffer 10% less damage by rain troops, and your troops receive 25% less morale penalty when using line formations. I'm going to take loose formations. Combat tips, increase the recruit level of units of the same culture with you from NPCs. Well, my culture is, I believe, the north, so this is not really going to help me at all. Going to go for Raise the Meek. That gives me a little bit of experience bonus. And increase relationship gain with the opposite gender by 20% or the same gender by 20%. I will go for same gender so we can increase our relation with Tywin and any other potential vassals much, much faster. And then otherwise, gain 10 more influence by winning tournaments and a 30% chance to negate a relationship penalty from kingdom decisions. I'll take the relationship penalty benefit right there. And increase heal rate while stationary, increase heal rate by 15% when moving. I'm going to take the while moving one. That is always fantastic in my opinion. And workshops owned by you have 20% increased production, and also siege engines are built 20% faster. I guess I'll take that, even though I think you have to be the quartermaster for that to work. You have to be the active quartermaster, I guess. Maybe that's how it works. Maybe it's not. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to actually spec a little bit into throwing right here because I personally really love throwing skill, and if I can get a couple more javelins, I'm sure we're going to be able to utilize those really nicely, and it's going to be super fun. Okay, so we got this guy. He's going to attempt to take this. I'm going to actually join him because I'd really like to see the siege mechanics in this mod, because I don't believe we've actually seen them yet. So I think it would be pretty fun to see what's going on with it. Oh, you're... Yes, yeah, as I thought. Harrenhal is now under siege, and that's where we're going now. We are going to... Oh, look at that. That's a massive army. That is an absolutely insanely large army right there. Okay, yeah, well, we obviously are going to achieve victory here, I'm pretty sure. I mean, unless something so dramatically bad happens with some kind of strategy error or some kind of tactic that goes wrong, there is really nothing that can happen here that will really put us in jeopardy. But who knows? Maybe I'll end up losing my entire army just because the AI decides to stand all the way in the back and doesn't really help me at all. But yeah, anyway, we'll see. I'm going to actually lead the archers here. I personally prefer leading archers. Our plan is to get in range and shower them with projectiles. Well, yeah, I mean, of course. Isn't that the point? Isn't that the point? Am I missing something right here? Am I I don't know. Because I'm thinking to myself, yeah, yes, archers, yes, we need to shower them with projectiles. I mean, that is the job description, isn't it? It's like, you know, archers, oh no, they're not for that. They're for painting a room, you know, they're for painting a room, they're for baking some bread or something. No, they are definitely for shooting enemies with projectiles. You know, that would probably make sense. Alright, so I'm actually going to go for a loose formation right here. Loose formation is obviously going to be the fantastic thing to go for, and hopefully they're going to be able to maximize their kill potential. I'm not seeing any high ground here, which is kind of unfortunate. Elias, skirmish in front of... Okay, I'm just going to put them on auto-delegate. I'm literally just going to put them on auto-delegate because they are going to do exactly as the AI says for them to do, and I personally don't really like what the AI says because usually they are, I'm going to say a little bit questionable in their decision making. And you can see here that we're being murdered pretty badly by the enemy's archers as well. Thankfully, most of the enemy are hitting the shields, the very sturdy shields, mind you, of our own forces, which is very nice to see. I'd like to be able to get a little bit closer. Just a little bit closer. I'd like to be able to use my thrown weapons if at all possible. Oh, these are Veil units. Oh, now that actually makes sense. Yes, Veil units are amazing archers. They're really, really good at what they do. Thankfully, our own forces are now starting to get into range. And I'm out in the middle of well, nowhere here. And I'm probably going to get murdered almost instantly, but we'll oh, well, that guy got murdered. Never mind, okay. Let me see if I can maybe utilize this. Yep. Oh, that was terrible. Oh, I'm out of range. I just don't have enough thrown weapon skill. I only have 2 more. I'm kind of sad now. Really thought I'd be able to level this up a little bit. And then I hit... I hit one of my own lords. That is so terrible. Okay, let's just tell this guy to go over here. Maybe we can do some damage with my two-handed instead. Okay, now we're having some problems. Yes, I am indeed pulling back. Now, here's the thing. I'm not entirely sure why we would pull back in this particular moment, because I'm thinking to myself, you know that if I were commanding these guys manually, I mean I am now commanding them manually, of course, but generally if I was commanding them manually before, I wouldn't have even told them to go that close. I would have just basically left them at the very back there and just allowed them to do whatever they wanted to do, because I personally feel like if they can shoot from range, that's pretty much all we need them to do. We just need them to be in range, have a decent angle on the opponent, and, well, that's pretty much it. And hopefully they're not going to get harassed from any enemy cavalry or anything, and hopefully then we're going to get some good results from them. But what they wanted was some weird skirmish stuff, and look, she's saying for me to skirmish again, so I guess I'm just going to put on auto-delegate and we'll see what happens. I personally don't think it's going to be... skirmishing sometimes, yeah, I can definitely see it. Skirmishing definitely is pretty fun to do. Unfortunately, I'm going to get killed here. Yeah, I didn't really want to get killed there, but unfortunately, it seems like my allied cavalry... I'm obviously not in command of the cavalry, so this really doesn't do much for me. But it seems like the commander of the cavalry was kind of passive. In my opinion, way too passive, because you can see here, look at this amazing amount of cavalry we have, and there's only a handful at the very front. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that, because you think to yourself, well, cavalry is kind of, the assault unit, kind of the flanking unit, the one that wants to take the enemy unawares from the side or from the back or something like that, where the defense is the weakest, and try to eliminate the enemy archers as much as possible. But it feels to me like they're just not being as aggressive as they could be, and that's kind of the reason why I think that the whole auto-delegation thing could use a little bit of tweaking here and there. But obviously, this is the AI we're talking about. They generally are kind of like this, they do generally tend to do that kind of stuff, which is fine. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing necessarily most of the time. But when you see that, and when, for example, I'm fighting in the middle of my own forces, and I get killed by 3 enemies that are not being attacked in the least, that's kind of a little bit frustrating. But, oh, wait a minute, we've got some people that died. I can't believe it. Look at that. We actually have a couple of people that died. Wow, okay. Yeah, that's one of those times, isn't it? Yeah, that is one of those times. Usually we don't see that kind of thing anymore. Okay, I'm not too sure what to do now. Should we let these guys go? I guess. Why not? I will take these guys prisoner as well. They are going to give me a massive amount of cash when I eventually get over to a tavern to sell them. And I mean, you could see here, look at this. Worn High Valyrian Cavalry Armor. Personally, I think this armor is insanely good because look at the weight. Look at the weight of this thing. You know what? I actually feel like I should use this instead of what I'm using because I think I've gone a bit too overboard. Oh, wait a minute. This helmet is fantastic. I think I've gone a bit too overboard with the amount of protection that I have. Even though I am dying pretty fast, we've got to bear in mind that in the end, I kind of wanted to play a character that was running really, really quickly on the battlefield. And I think that if I was wearing this armor, I probably wouldn't have died. You know, I probably wouldn't have died, mostly because of the fact that I'm going to be able to run away from pretty much any situation I want to. And that is the greatest strength of having light armor on in comparison to heavy armor. So we'll see we'll see what happens. Maybe it's going to be something that I really, really hate and I'm going to, change it or something. But yeah, okay, so we've left his army now because obviously he's dead. The guy that led the army has died. So let's go into the trade screen here. 16,000. I'm going to sell everything with the exception of the armor. So let's do a lock on that. There we go. All right. They have some sumpter horses. I'm actually going to buy a whole bunch here because I really want to have a lot of space for loot and everything. So hopefully that's going to help us. And there we go. So there's another, what is that, 13,000 or something? Yeah, 13,800. Pretty cool. And we also have Riverlands recruits available here. I personally don't care about them at all. And there we go. We also gained another perk point in roguery because we were able to sell our prisoners there. We have a two-handed perk, an athletics perk, and as I said, a roguery perk. So let's see what we can do. Prisoners are less likely to escape from towns, faster raiding, don't care about that. Okay, we're going to go for prisoners are 20% less likely to escape from towns, because when we do eventually get a town, it might make kind of sense. When no shields and ranged weapons are wielded, you gain 5% movement speed. Now this is really powerful, in my opinion. I think I'm going to do this. I am going to use thrown weapons, but I'm going to be, sort of unequipping them sometimes and then equipping them other times. And we'll see what happens with that. I'm going to take the Berserker perk, by the way, in the two-handed tree. Increase your damage with two-handed weapons by 20% when you have less than half hit points. I mean, usually that's where I am. Confidence, I'm not entirely sure anyone is going to have this because unless you're very lucky in not getting hit, generally, you're always going to be below 90%, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that, but maybe you're just really, really lucky, or potentially you're on a horse, maybe. Maybe if you're on a horse, you can, avoid most little bits of damage that are going to come your way. Anyway, there we go. We have achieved victory here, and I'm going to go in here and just wait for some time because my forces are a little bit injured. Well, I'm mostly injured, kind of. Yes, let's not mention it. Let's move swiftly on. Oh, hello there. Well, John Aaron is attempting to take this. And how many... I don't even know. How many vassals are actually in here? It doesn't seem like very many at all. Okay. Yeah. He's being attacked by a massive army right now. Should I go and assist? I'm actually kind of, yes, I think I probably should. Let's just do an auto-resolve, shall we? Let's just do an auto-resolve against, I mean, yeah, look at that. The power levels are so dramatically in our favor. We could definitely do an auto-resolve there. There's another 2,000 for us, and I'm going to let people go. There we go. And we can also take some prisoners. This is great. And we'll take some more. Yeah, I'm just making sure that I don't miss out on any loot, because most of the shall we say, most of the really good loot that you're going to see is basically about the same price as any other random piece of gear. So, yeah, it's a bit strange in that way, but you've got to be a little bit careful. All right, there's another 4,800. We can also sell that. 9,000. Look at that. Pretty crazy. Okay, so I have 43,000 gold now. Isn't that funny how that works? You join the evil side. Well, technically on how you're looking at it, you know, your perspective can change, and dependent on what you define as evil, quote unquote. Yeah, well, anyway, you join the less scrupulous side, shall we say, and all of a sudden you're swimming in money. Yes, it's funny how that works, isn't it? Anyway, let's see what we can do here. King's Landing is, of course, ours, which is actually fantastic as well, because that means I can basically just go in here and I don't have to worry. King's Guard recruits. Do these guys level up into something amazing? Because I seem to remember that from some of the Warband mods, that King's Guards are super powerful, but they don't seem that powerful here. They seem okay and pretty solid, but I wouldn't say that they are looking particularly powerful or anything like that. Okay, so let's just have a quick look at what's going on here. So Tywin is down there. He's attempting to take Blackhaven from who? Who's he attempting to take that? From the Stormlands. Okay, that makes sense. And we have Nightsong Castle. You know what? I'm actually going to go over to Nightsong Castle. It seems like it's all by itself, so maybe it would be an idea for me to go over there and see what's going on. How much is Humphrey making, by the way? Okay, question. I'm kind of speechless about this right now. Is he actually making any money whatsoever? As far as I'm aware, he doesn't seem to be making anything. Is that just me? I mean, I obviously can't tell anymore, but for me, it seemed like he was making almost no money whatsoever. Anyway, Nightsong Castle. Let's do this. Let's attempt to take this, shall we? Because this only has 154 defenders, and it might be a relatively nice starter. Oh. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to finish this siege in time. Can I escape? No. Oh dear. This is really bad. I'm gonna have to try and get away. This is gonna give me 28 casualties. I did actually gain a level somehow. How did I gain a level from that? Okay, thankfully I'm able to escape. That was very, very costly, but oh well, never mind. I guess you live and learn, and that's the whole emphasis. Living is, you know, the name of the game here, basically. I'm gonna just run in against some of these bandits real fast because I'd like to level up more of our forces. It seems like that's what I need to do. You know, I need to continue leveling up our forces, try to make sure that they are as strong as possible next time we come across a situation like that, because it feels to me like I'm not strong enough to take on these larger parties. It seems like I need, I don't know, like what, 250 combat strength or something like that. I feel like that might be going overboard. But wow, she's still chasing me right now. I can't believe it. Okay, that's a little bit persistent, but okay, sure. I guess that is her decision to make if she wants to do that. But yeah, now we are in a situation where I'm just going to have to basically go to all these villages, and unfortunately, because there are so many vassals in and around the area, they're basically just taking everything from me right now. Oh well, never mind. There's actually a hideout going on here. Maybe I can find a task that gives me the ability to go in there and try and eliminate that, because it is pretty good money, pretty good experience, and well, obviously on top of that you get all the loot too. Anyway, I think that's probably going to be it for this episode. I will be returning to Nightsong Castle. You mark my words, I will return there and I will attempt to take it, because I'd love to see a siege map in this mod. I am very much highly anticipating that. I'm very much hoping that the siege maps are unique. If they haven't obviously replaced the default sieges from Bannerlord, then, you know, I can completely understand that, because that is a lot of work. But if they have, then I'm going to be very much looking forward to it. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.